The North Las Vegas City Council welcomes you to its virtual City Council meeting this evening. There are two public forums set aside for public comments, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end. When I call upon you to speak, I request that you will limit your comments no more than 3 minutes and that you avoid repetition. Madam City Clerk, are we in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law?
Mayor, yes, we are in compliance.
Great. Tonight we have the opportunity to have the pledge, the invocation, given by Mayor Pro Tem Barone. Followed would be the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Churchill. Would you please rise? Councilman?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a little bit of an unexpected honor, but I guess I'll do my best. Would you all please bow your heads and join me in prayer? Dear Lord, we thank you for, again, allowing us to meet and come together to do the very best we can in these very difficult times in which, of course, our city and our residents are subjected to pressures, of course, that are affecting all the people of our world and, of course, all the people who are suffering economically, medically, and at times spiritually. We hope that you will bring our city your blessings, and you will allow us here on the City Council to make the very best decisions possible to bring a relief and to bring good government here to the City Council. And we ask you this in all candor and with all blessings for our city. Thank you very much, and amen.
Thank you.
Amen. While we're standing, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. I think we're going to start calling you Father Barone instead of Councilman Barone. That was a beautiful prayer. We're going to move on to the public forum. This is a time set aside to comment on posted agenda items. This public forum excludes discussions on public hearing items, which will be heard later separately. So if you want to speak on any item listed under consent agenda, business, or ordinance final action, now is that time. Madam City Clerk, do we have any callers or written comments for this public forum?
Mayor, we had one written comment in regards to item 21, the bike ordinance. That was in opposition. You've received a copy of that written comment. And we do have one person, we have one person on the line. I will bring that person in, Richard Skipton.
All right, I want to make for the record, Councilman Churchill has received 39 complaints on the animal issue. He will be discussing that at the end of the meeting here. We had two of them that were slander issues they wanted us to check into. That Councilman Barone will look at those. And the last one was somebody who was against maybe the bike ordinance or wanted to make a point on it, and Councilman Black will make a point. Yeah. So when we get to those items, gentlemen, get ready to cover them. So, Catherine, go ahead and have the other person come on.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, caller. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Rick Skipton, 1841 Luna Vista Place, Northwest Vegas.
Welcome, Rick. We're glad to have you with us today. Go ahead, bud.
Thank you. I'm a North Las Vegas resident and also on the board of directors of the Southern Nevada Bicycle Coalition. I'm also on the Southern Nevada Complete Streets Coalition. The coalition is a non-profit grassroots organization. It's the voice of bicyclists in the Southern Nevada. We strive to make biking better for everyone, advocate for safer roads, better trails, and seek for more bicycling opportunities in Southern Nevada. We aim to bring riders together to support issues and connect the community through cycling. We support cycling for many important and pragmatic reasons, including it makes you healthier, increases your brain power, it's easier on your body physically than other forms of exercise, such as running or walking. And finally, it's a legitimate, environmentally free, and cost-effective method of transportation, an activity you'll be able to do for the rest of your life can reduce stress and produces no carbon footprint. Besides, it's fun. You may have noticed the explosion of bike sales in North Las Vegas since March. Many retailers are sold out. This points to a marked increase in interest in biking by your constituents. Something to keep in mind as you create strategies, planning, and policy. I first brought the bicycle riding on sidewalks issue to Councilman Churchill 3 years ago, and I've been pestering him about it ever since. I was surprised to find that North Las Vegas is out of step with other local communities by outlawing bike riding on sidewalks, and at the same time had done very little to enable safe bike riding by implementing more bike lanes and multi-use paths. Changing this ordinance is a great step in the right direction for the community. It will enable children to legally and safely ride to school and allow the rest of us a place to ride when riding on the street is simply too dangerous. We've taken many other steps to address bicycle safety, and I commend you for that effort, such as establishing a complete street policy, sponsoring and adopting the 2019 North Las Vegas Bicycling and Pedestrian Plan, implementing bike lanes on many streets in the northwest part of our city, and approving pedestrian biking bridge projects for Craig and Ann Road, just to name a few. But we can't rest on our laurels. The recently announced Camino El Dorado resurfacing project was first proposed without adding bike lanes. We still lack a bicycle champion on the North Las Vegas staff, and too many roads and trails lack basic maintenance to keep them usable, such as obstacles and bike lanes on city streets, lane line maintenance, and wash trail landscaping. In closing, we respectfully recommend you adopt this ordinance change. We look forward to working with the City of North Las Vegas on future projects and events. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. If you'll stay on the phone, we're going to have item 21. Dale Daffern's going to give a presentation on that. Just want you to hear that, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you. Catherine, Madam City Clerk, do we have anyone else who would like to speak to the council at this time?
Mayor, we do not have any more callers on the line for public forum.
Thank you. We will close the first public forum and moving on to the agenda. Mr. City Manager?
Item 1, approved City Council regular meeting agenda for September 2nd, 2020. Mayor and Council staff recommends approval of the agenda.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions on the motion to approve the agenda? If not, the chair will take that motion.
Goins Brown, move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee, aye.
Brown, aye.
Black, aye. Goins Brown, aye.
So that item is approved. We're going to go in alphabetical order, okay? We got a lot of B's and C's here, so all right. Thank you very much. Like I say, we have a motion. We've already moved to approve the agenda. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Mayor and Council, the consent agenda consists of items 2 through 16, and it's our recommendation to approve it as published.
Thank you very much. Councilor, any comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Goins Brown, so moved.
We have a motion. Lee, aye.
Brown, aye.
Black, aye.
Churchill, aye.
Goins Brown, aye.
You got a black eye, huh, Scotty? Okay.
Yes, sir, always.
Always. You're always going to be our favorite black eye then. Madam City Clerk, go ahead. Moving on to future public hearing dates.
Item number 17, set date on any appeals filed or required public hearings from the City Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. We direct you to so set any hearing dates as necessary.
Mayor, so noted. Just for the record, we do have a late caller for public forum, so they maybe have to hold on until the second public forum.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from them, so we'll remember to bring her up or him up. Moving on to the public hearings.
Item number 18, ratify the 2020-2021 agreement between the City of North Las Vegas, Nevada and the North Las Vegas Police Officers Association for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Mayor and Council, this is now we're kind of winding down the rest of our collective bargaining agreements. First, I just want to thank our team that INVOCATION agreement put in place so that we could focus on the pandemic and focus on getting more data and information back on the economy as we move into next year and begin negotiations again. Year over year, the C-tax for the last 4 months, March through June, is down 24.8%. Given that C-tax is our largest revenue sources for the general fund, that this drop is significant and will impact our operations throughout the city. Based on the revised revenue projections from the local government finance working group, we estimate that the citywide revenue decline will be $76.4 million, lower than what we had estimated pre-COVID. As you notice, this is getting a little bit better, but better is relative because it's still $76 million that we're in the hole, if you will. These projections continue to change as the pandemic continues, and that's, for that very reason, the dynamic nature of this and not having all the information is one of the reasons that the mayor and council directed us this year to hold flat and have some concessions from the unions, but really wait to gather more information before we went more drastic with anything. In response to the ongoing crisis, as you all know, management's postponed or canceled numerous projects within the CIP, and we've instituted soft hiring freezes and taken other measures to save dollars and let the budget stretch the budget out. The 2021 budget approved by council did not include any cost of living adjustments or base wage increases for the employee groups. Really, at this time, we're still very concerned about the long-term viability of the tax base. We've done a very good job in the city of diversifying, which has created dollars that we didn't have during the last recession. But that being said, such a dynamic situation. It's changing all the time. We still believe, and all the projections show nationally and locally, that our economy is going to be slower to recover than other places. We're starting to see some of the numbers creep back up at Cairns International Airport, but still we're like 90% less than what we normally are. For these reasons, we've asked our collective bargaining groups to work with us to help shore up and close this revenue gap. The agreement for you today is for the POA. It does include the 52 correction officers, which we hope to bring before you guys at the next council meeting. And the budget annual salary for benefits for POA is approximately $60 million a year. This represents 275 employees that are covered by the agreement. The agreement allows for us to keep base wages flat, which is consistent with the 2021 budget. In addition, the agreement allows us to make changes to the city's premium medical insurance plan, which currently has approximately 395 participants. So with the concessions that are before you in this agreement today, it represents $238,000 savings per year. Additionally, some of the things that are in the concessions agreement, as we went through the contracts in light of some of what's going on nationally in regards to police reform, we have made some changes in the contract that are through the city attorney's office that these will create some higher level of accountability, and we'll make sure that the public can be rest assured that our police officers, who are the best in the valley, some of the best in the country, that their contract reflects that, and that there is a discipline process, and some of the different areas that we were concerned about in the contract have been changed, so that we can make sure that our police officers are held accountable for service to the community. So that's, if there's any questions, but that was the basis of the presentation that I needed to make as far as the financial conditions of the contract.
Thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions? I have one question, but I'll wait. Maybe you ask it. Is there any questions or comments?
I'm fine, Mayor. Councilman Churchill's fine.
We do appreciate a great police department and a great police chief, Mr. City Manager, and the relationship that we have now with our leadership team. This deficit you were talking about, did you say $79 million that
$76.4.
Does that include the sewer and water abatements, abayances and stuff like that we've done, or is that just on money that was coming into the city that has stopped coming?
Yeah, so all this is purely the tax dollars.
Okay.
And what we had projected based on year-over-year increases and based on year-over-year performance, we had projected a certain number, and right now we're $76 million off of that number. So really, what it takes to do the normal operations in the city over the next 2 years, we're $76 million. Based on the actual revenues that we have coming in from C-Tax and other things, we're $76 million short.
Wow. Okay. And kind of hard to make that up. It's going to be a few years, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things to remember is we were able to make up a $156 million structural deficit. But that was a structural deficit that was over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
This is a high amount for a very short period of time, and it's pretty unprecedented. So until we get a little bit better financial data, a little bit better understanding of which way the curve's going, how gradual the slope is, how sharp the slope is, then we'll have a better idea. And that's why this number, if you recall, it began at $107 million. So we've gotten a little bit better, but it's still very significant.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the leadership of the POA and your team working together and moving forward. We'll pull out of this, I guess, faster than anybody else I know, because Gene and Gavin, Economic Development, is going to work a little hard out to make sure we replace that money. Council, is there any other comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, I'd just like to say I want to echo, of course, Councilman Churchill and your. I want to again thank the leadership there on the POA side to work with us to come with an equitable solution in these really uncertain times, and that I think we've done. The city manager's done a fantastic job working with them in ensuring the long-term viability, of being able to provide these police services and keep it within a reasonable amount that our city can bear. And unless someone else wants to do it, I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Mayor,
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
This is a public hearing item. I don't have any callers on the line, but.
So let me open the public comment officially, and you have no one to speak to us right now?
Mayor, no, I have no callers on the line or written comments on this item.
Okay, I wasn't ready to go there, but Isaac threw that motion in real quick, and it sounded like a good one. So we will close public comment. And Councilman Brown, you want to restate your motion?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract here with the POA.
Thank you. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee, aye.
Barone, aye.
Councilman Black, yes.
Councilman Churchill, yes.
Joyce Brown, yes.
It's unanimous. Thank you very much, Council, and thank you so much for our wonderful police officers. I like that word better, Scott, yes, than I. That's a good one. I like that. Moving on, I got my mask on here. Moving on to businesses.
Item number 19, pass and adopt resolution number 2655, a resolution standing for solidarity with the Nevada legislature and condemning historical discrimination against the residents of North Las Vegas and Nevada and urging actions to address the public health crisis caused by systemic racism and greatly magnified by the COVID-19 pandemic in Nevada. Mayor and Council, there's one small change to the resolution. It's published online in the fifth whereas section. The number 52 should actually be replaced with the number 70. And that just demonstrates the fact that our community, the community of color, is impacted greater than anywhere else. I think the resolution generally speaks for itself. I want to first thank Senator Spearman for her leadership. This is a resolution that mirrors much of what Senator Spearman put before the legislature to really alert the state to this challenge. It's something that we've been dealing with here in the state, here in North Las Vegas, throughout the entire pandemic. It was exacerbated whenever the decision was made by the governor's office to not give us the CARES dollars allocation that came from the federal government. And from that Thursday to today, it's something that we've been working to really help people understand that that is the very definition of institutional racism, by not taking a community of color and not providing them direct allocations from the federal government. And then you have a community, for example, Reno, which is high 80% Caucasian. They have $47 million that just comes to them in a check, and that they're able to spread that out throughout their community and use it for services within the city to deal with COVID. That is the very example of where a city like North Las Vegas we have to make up $47 million on another city. And that's the kind of historical, institutional challenges that communities of color continually face. We see it again whenever it comes to GCSD's rollout of a plan to provide distance learning, which is a response that's happened nationally to COVID. It's a very reasonable response. It's something that they needed to do based on the challenges they were facing, but it doesn't change the fact that is a program that will be a huge disadvantage for our residents. Distance learning is something that is not successful within minority communities. It's not successful within communities that struggle financially and they're not affluent, and their abilities to not only have the device, but not have the devices, but also, even with the device, not have reliable high-speed internet access that allows them to get onto the classes. In the shadow of City Hall, we see every day there's a bus that's parked out there from CCSD. It's a yellow bus that has Wi-Fi on it, and it's sitting on a black blacktop in Smith's parking lot in the heat of the day, and that's the solution for our kids. Is they expect for our kids within a 300-meter radius to come and to sit on the blacktop with their devices and take their online classes. That, while it's a solution, it's not a solution for our community. And that's the very definition of how some communities are treated different than others. And this pandemic, as Senator Spearman has pointed out, this pandemic is a health crisis. And it's a health crisis for communities of color more than it is for other communities. So this resolution is to stand in solidarity with the Nevada legislature and recognize them for their efforts, because we're on the front lines and we see this happening on a daily basis. And I think that the time is coming where thankfully in the public conscious there's a conversation about this, and I believe within the city of North Las Vegas we are going to, at every turn, we will fight whenever there is this kind of systemic historical discrimination against our residents.
Thank you very much. You mentioned community of color, and I know that people think, oh, it's just a bunch of those people over there. But we're proud of this. We love being an integrated city. We have a great lifestyle over here. We're proud of having everybody who lives in North Las Vegas be a part of our community. And also proud of Senator Spearman. She's been a great advocate for North Las Vegas. And whenever we need help at the legislature or she brings ideas to us, she's been a great leader. And any community that's going to win has got to have a senator such as her and the assembly members that we have. And we have some great leaders in our community. So I applaud Senator Spearman, and I'm proud of being the city we are. But when you're economically a little bit sometimes disadvantaged and you end up getting disregarded, I don't know exactly how that happened, but will this resolution, number 2655, Mr. City Manager, will this go to the legislature or to the executive branch? Where does it go from here?
It's something that I believe it will be put out in the media. We are going to send it to the legislature. If you recall, the county, they gave us half of the CARES allocation that we should have received from the federal government from their own dollars, which, by the way, they use those dollars to help communities of color, to help our community as well as our region, which is a minority region. We are going going back to the interim finance committee of the legislature to not only get the other half of the dollars that the residents of North Las Vegas should have received based on the federal map, but also work with the state to make sure that county gets their dollars back.
Good.
Because county provides services to our residents. And they provide services to our communities. They, for example, in testing and things like that. We are the epicenter for COVID. And our mortality rates within African American community and the Spanish community is dramatically higher than it is in any other community. So we're going to work with them. The legislature will know that this is of our support for this, and it goes as more than anything, it's an exhibit of why we should be receiving the federal dollars that we should receive, and why we should continue fighting this fight for our residents.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you did bring up something interesting. As the county commission chairman, Kirkpatrick, is a great staunch ally of North Las Vegas, but the whole county, but Henderson and Mesquite and Boulder City, not Las Vegas, but the rest of us are all thankful for the county commission recognizing that we had responsibilities in our community, and they came forth to help us fund them. So we are very proud of our relationship with our county commissioners, chair of the county commission, and the other commissioners who supported us on this. Council, any comments or questions on this presentation? There will be no vote on this, but there should be a vote on this. Yeah, there should be a vote. So is there any other comments or questions? And the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, comment.
Go ahead.
In our resolution, the first whereas says it's stated by author and activist Maya Angelou, and she states that prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. Until you thoroughly can understand the past about racism and the treatment of people of color and how it is threatening our future correct right now, and then what is happening in the present, it's hard for you to picture what a person of color goes through. Racism, to me, is just defined as it's a prejudice, it's a discrimination, antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their particular racial, ethnic group. And it's typically a minority, and it's also a marginalized effect. Within North Las Vegas, like City Manager said, we are the largest majority population in the state, and which speaks volumes. We have a very diverse community here in the city of North Las Vegas. It starts with a conversation, and I think our city has been doing a great job at having that conversation to learn what others are going through. I'm the mother of two black young men, and, my day starts out with a text or a call every single day to see how they are. And sad to say, did everything go okay? Or if you get pulled over by the police, you need to do this, don't do that. I have to have that conversation, and they are adults. But as a mom, I still feel like I need to say that to them. My youngest son wanted to rent a U-Haul to drive some furniture back to L.A. As a young black male, I said, you are not allowed to do that. If you get pulled over in that highway, I don't know what could happen because you are a young black man. Don't know if you got pulled over, are you going to be questioned? Are you going to be searched? So those kind of things I just did not want to take the chance at that time because it was right in the middle of when all the riots began. I'm proud that our city has had many, many peaceful protests, and the word is getting out. And as a community, if we stick together, we have those conversations, we check on one another, and we realize we have to treat people with respect, treat people fairly, treat people the same, because the Black Lives Matter movement is so strong out there. And to understand the philosophy behind it, if you understand that, if you become part of it, then you'll be part of the solution.
Pam, I appreciate that. And you led the charge with the city manager to go to the county and made this happen for our community. I'd like to hear what the other council people have to say and then have you make the motion. Would that be okay?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Any other council members would like to make a discussion into this before we call for a motion?
Yeah, Mayor, if you allow me. Of course, recently I've returned to the classroom online because, of course, I still have full-time employment as a teacher. right down the street of Rancho High School. And I can firsthand attest, as my recently related colleague there, Pamela, who of course she recently retired, we're looking and we're dealing with firsthand the what the ramifications are of the systemic racism on the children that we teach. We're expected as teachers to look after these students who are supposed to be logging on to our class. I don't have a single class that's less than 39 students, and most of them are about 45 students. But oftentimes, I'll have about 25% absenteeism where the kids are not able to sign on. And it's really simple. When I call, I make contact. It's because, again, so many of our families have not crossed the digital divide. They don't have the proper technology. They don't have this. They don't have that. They don't have the access to Wi-Fi. And this is the result, of this institutionalized racism that the city manager was referring to. Again, and when we don't have available money to really tackle these challenges that exist in our community, we've been doing everything that we can to help shore up our businesses here, and many of them, of course, in the downtown area that are businesses, headed by households of color, small mom and pop organizations here. We're doing everything that we can to help people stay in their apartments, in their homes. But when we don't have the resources that are allocated to us, it is so ironic that this idea of institutionalized racism goes right all the way up and doesn't allow people who are supposed to be tasked with looking after and making sure that everything's equitable in our community. And still, this message still has not fully spoken to them. And to think that there are communities across the state of Nevada that, they're majority Caucasian communities, and they're getting more COVID money than our city is. I'm talking relatively wealthy communities like Douglas County who have been allocated money. And we've been allocated nothing at this point from the state. And it is very disappointing. And I really I applaud all the help, of course, that our state leaders in the legislature. And, of course, I applaud the Clark County Commission for helping us understanding just what it means to be here in North Las Vegas. And, of course, very well documented in a recent newspaper article that 89030 was one of the top 2 least prepared communities or parts of the community with the most infections and least amount of resources to deal with it. And is I'm very thankful to all the friends in the community, and I'm thankful to all of our staff that's done so much to alleviate the suffering that's very evident. You can see it every day in my neighbors in our community. And I'm looking very much forward, to this resolution passing. And with that, I'll cede it to anyone who else wants to make a comment.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak on this issue? Seeing none, the motion, Pam, I'm going to ask you to make is to pass and adopt Resolution 2655 as amended. That should be the motion.
Hey, Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2655 as amended.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Council, please say your vote. Lee, aye.
Barone, aye. Councilman Black, yes.
Councilman Churchill, yes.
Goins Brown, yes.
We have approved it unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. City Manager, for bringing this forth.
Moving on to item 20. Adopt business impact statement regarding ordinance number 3019, amending Title 5, Chapter 5.26, liquor regulations and licensing in the municipal code, addressing the impact of businesses from proposed regulations and licensing fees.
Mark, are you there, Director Jordan? Did you have anything to say on this?
Well, real briefly, this business impact statement, what staff is proposing to do is add definitions and regulations and fees for brew pubs, breweries, craft distilleries, estate distilleries, instructional winemaking facilities, and liquor manufacturers. We're basically bringing our current Title V into alignment with the other jurisdictions in the Valley, and that these classifications would be consistent with that, and also expand our economic activity within the city. And what started this is we did have a brewery pub that came before the Planning Commission, and that's when we realized we did not have any regulations in Title V for this. We sent this out to approximately 300 liquor licenses and also posted on the city's website. And we only received 3 calls and 1 email, and they just were asking for clarification of the proposed ordinance. Otherwise, we have not received any objections or any other concerns regarding what is going to be introduced tonight.
Thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions on this? If not, the motion will be to adopt the business statement, impact statement regarding ordinance number 3019. Does everybody has anything to say on this, or would somebody like to make a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 3033. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one altogether. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
3019.
Yeah,
you're right.
My motion.
No, we have a motion by Councilman Barone. The chair says aye.
Barone, aye. Councilman Black, yes.
Councilman Churchill, yes.
Goins, Brown, aye.
We have a unanimous decision. Thank you very much. Moving on to ordinances, final action.
Item number 21, passing about ordinance number 3033, amending Title 10, Chapter 60, Section 130 of the Municipal Code, authorizing the riding of bicycles on the city sidewalks and providing other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you very much. Councilman Black, you worked very, very hard on this. I know you're an avid cyclist, and we want to turn this over to you. I think you have Dale Dapper on the line that's going to work with you on this. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor, I'm on the line.
Okay, so I'll turn it over to you and Councilman Black.
All right,
Thank you. Go for it, Dale.
You want me to go?
You can go first.
Okay, sounds good. Well, if you wouldn't mind looking at your packet there in front of you, once again, Dale Dapper for the record. As you may recall, back in February 2020, the council adopted an amendment to the comprehensive master plan by updating the open space and transportation elements. And basically that replaced the 2011 comprehensive trails and bikeway master plan with the North Las Vegas citywide pedestrian and bicycle plan. If we go to page 2 on your slide, without going into the great history of the bicycle plan, since it's been previously presented to the council, around the end of 2018, it was designed to be consistent with our complete streets policy, some of our visioning documents, and our strategic plan. In addition, the plan also was supported by many bike enthusiasts and local bike groups. In general, the plan outlined the comprehensive network of pedestrian and bicycle facilities and established some goals and objectives that we could follow as a city. It set a strategy to achieve the goals and also provided some items they call quick wins in the plan that we could implement within the first 6 months of the plan. You can go to slide 3, which says how to be successful with the top. So within the plan, a method for prioritizing the projects and rank the projects using various criteria were established. In addition, several quick wins, as I mentioned earlier, were identified. So, for example, under the quick wins, the need to screen the capital projects for bike opportunities. Although we actually do that regularly in our capital improvement plans, I think the council understands the ability for us sometimes to get right away, just right away, is very expensive. In addition, some of the more mature areas were locked in by businesses and streetscape, which
doesn't allow us to do much except maybe narrow the travel lanes to achieve some bike lanes. So sometimes that's a little tough to achieve. The second item, number 2 there, the plan also suggested incorporating a multimodal approach to the CIP project, which currently we're updating our master plan of streets and highways, and we recently received some RTC funding to actually update our master plan. And we're certainly going to look at the multimodal component within that transportation plan. And lastly, which is really the focus of today's agenda item, is one of the quick wins recommends that we adopt a code that revises the municipal code prohibiting bicycles on sidewalks. Go to your next slide, the one with the graphical picture there. So why do we really want to allow bicycles on the sidewalks? You really got to look at some of the data, some of the statistical data that was presented in the plan. The plan pointed out that 88% of all bicycle collisions occur on roadways without dedicated bike facilities. And if you look at this bicycle facility map here, or this bicycle collision map, you look at the yellow square or yellow triangle where it shows where there's been a collision with a bicycle and a vehicle. You can clearly see the relationship between major roadways in both the east-south direction, or east and west directions. You can look at Cheyenne, Alexander, Craig Road, and see the multiple collisions there. And although kind of less apparent in the north-south direction, you can look at streets like Decatur and Martin Luther King and Camino al Norte, and you can see a relationship there, which are larger roadways. Further, the plan pointed out that we only have about 11% of our arterial and collector streets with dedicated bike. And there's also a huge correlation with pedestrian and bicycle collisions. And the plan pointed out that 71% of all collisions between 2013 and 2017 occurred on roadways with posted speed limits above 35 miles an hour. If you go to your last slide there, although we currently only have 11% of our arterial and collector roadways upfitted with dedicated bike lanes, we do have an excellent array of ADA compliant perimeter and offset sidewalk areas. So if we utilize these sidewalk areas for bikes, we can separate high-speed traffic from bicycles. We can eliminate some isolated residential areas. They're referred to as islands in the plan. And we can also provide a better connection between trails and mixed-use pathways throughout the city. Finally, of course, we can enhance the community health and life by making it easier and safer to get around the city by bike, and hopefully motivate some citizens to choose a healthy form of transportation to go to work in their entertainment place. So with that, I can answer any question, or I recommend that the Mayor and Council adopt ordinance number 3033, authorizing the riding of bicycles upon city sidewalks.
Thank you. Councilman Black?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Dale. That really kind of sets the tone for what we're about to present to the council. I want to say thank you to my colleagues on the council for entertaining this evening. You know, there are many reasons why individuals will either ride a bicycle or walk in our community. People do it for recreation, for family fun, for transportation, commuting to work and back or school and back. Of course, there's the exercise component. And if you go right now today, so this morning I rode my bike 15 miles exclusively on roadways in North Las Vegas and Ward 3, utilizing a good share of the roadways that had bike lanes, which was fantastic. I didn't ride on the sidewalk at all today. However, if I would have, and for the past 20 years since I've lived in Ward 3, raising a daughter and my wife, we've violated the law many, many times riding on the sidewalk, and that's unfortunate, and it shouldn't be the case. And so I think we're approaching this today. It's really a common sense thing, in my opinion, in the opinion of many others that are advocating for safe streets and safe ways for people to navigate that are navigating outside of a vehicle. So I want to say thank you to Rick Gibson. He called in earlier. He's with the Southern Nevada Bicycle Coalition. Rick made some really great points to acknowledge that we have come a long way with our complete streets policy, with our comprehensive bike and pedestrian plan. He also indicated that we have a ways to go, and I know he is a champion for these matters and will follow us along and support us and help us as we work towards the safest community possible as it relates to bicycling and pedestrians. He mentioned also the surge in cycling and bicycling purchases. You see people all over riding bikes as families, to the park, to the schools, around the neighborhoods, and largely they're already doing this safely by riding on the sidewalk. Unfortunately, it's just illegal. So this really is a common sense approach. To me, it's common courtesy. We have to communicate, and we have to continue our effort. We did get one comment from Grant and Patricia Couch, and I just wanted to thank them for reaching out regarding this ordinance. They have some concerns relative to riding a bicycle on the sidewalk with pedestrians due to speed, people riding their bikes fast on the sidewalk. And that's where I think common sense and common courtesy comes into play. We can share the sidewalk as pedestrians and cyclists safely and staying out of the roadways. And also I received a very thoughtful letter from my friend and colleague, Aaron Breen, who's the director of the Vulnerable Road Users Project, part of UNLV's Transportation Research Center. And if you'll bear with me, I just want to read two small excerpts from her letter because it really is excellent for what we're talking about here. She says, "The short truth is there is no easy answer to the dilemma of where to safely put people who are traveling outside of a car, pedestrians and cyclists, especially on streets like we build in Southern Nevada, wide, flat, and fast. In my perfect world, we narrow lanes, lower speeds, and add improvements so everyone feels safe using the street and we don't need to change laws." She says the short answer, which is what we're trying to do today, is to allow bicyclists to legally use the sidewalk for their safety. She says, "I understand it is the most immediate fix." So she's really not asking for us not to pass this ordinance, but what she's asking is that we have an ongoing conversation looking at building new roads or rehabbing new roads in such a way that speeds are lower, that people can share the streets together in a safe manner. And so I just wanted to thank Erin for her input, Mr. Skipton, Mr. and Mrs. Couch for sharing their comment, and I am in full support of this. Are there any other comments? I'd love to hear them.
Pam, you're going to be an amateur rider at Christmas time when you get your new bike. Do you think the streets would be safer when you get a bike if you're up on the sidewalk?
Actually, I did do a 8-mile ride a couple of months ago, and it is somewhat intimidating if you're off of a bike trail and you are riding in the street. And I did go onto the sidewalk just to put myself at ease because people on the roadways, like the passage that was read, our streets are wide and they're flat and they're fast. And people, until they respect the cyclists, know the laws, I think this is a good solution.
I agree. We looked at the map, Pam. We know where you live, and there was 3 accidents right on your street. Oh my gosh. So I'm just not sure if that 8-mile ride was beneficial to everybody else, but I'm glad you had a good time. So, picking on you, Pam.
I know. You know where I live.
So, if there's no other discussion or questions for Director Dapprin or the councilman, Councilman, you want to make a motion for the record?
I'd be glad to. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 3033, allowing the legal riding of bicycles on City of North Las Vegas sidewalks.
Thank you. We have a motion. Lee, aye.
Barone, yes.
Black, aye.
Churchill, yes.
Going Brown, aye.
We have a unanimous result on that. Congratulations, Scott. You worked hard on that. Moving on to ordinances, introduction only.
Mayor, Council, item 22, introduce ordinance number 3019, amending Title 5 of the Municipal Code relating to liquor regulations and licenses by amending Chapter 5.26, liquor regulations and licenses, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Item 23, introduce ordinance number 3034, an ordinance related to zoning, reclassifying approximately 6.39 plus or minus acres from a C2 general commercial district to R3 multifamily residential district, ZN05 2020 Scott Robinson Apartments, for property located at the northwest corner of Corley Avenue and Scott Robinson Boulevard, and providing for other matters property related thereto. Item 24, introduce ordinance number 3035, an ordinance related to zoning reclassifying approximately 8.08 plus or minus acres from a MPC RZ13 master plan community residential up to 13 DU/AC district to MPC C1 master plan community neighborhood commercial district, ZN08 2020 Valley Vista Constant Care, for property generally located at the northeast corner of Decatur Boulevard and Elkhorn Road, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Item 25, ordinance number 3036, ordinance related to zoning, reclassifying approximately 9.47 plus or minus acres from an OL open land district to M2 general industrial district, ZN09 2020 Sloan and Howdy Wells, for property generally located at the northeast corner of Howdy Wells Avenue and Sloan Lane, and providing for other matters property related thereto. And item 26, introduce ordinance number 3037, an ordinance related to zoning, reclassifying approximately 6.37 plus or minus acres in the zoning map of North Las Vegas from a M2 general industrial district to RCL single family compact lot residential district, ZN10 2020 Azure and Novak, for property located at the southeast corner of Azure Avenue and Novak Street, and providing for other matters property related thereto.
Thank you very much. Moving on to appointments, Councilman Black.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Lee. I am honored to submit Ms. Brittany Pollock to my colleagues on the council today to be appointed to the the Parks, Art, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Board. Ms. Pollock is a resident of Ward 3 and lives in Aliante. She is a fierce advocate for a variety of recreational opportunities for the city of North Las Vegas, both expanding what we currently have and looking at new opportunities down the road. She has great ideas, but not only does she have great ideas, she's willing to put in the work. I consider Ms. Pollock, my interactions with her, a sound leader, and I'm honored to recommend her name for that board.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion to appoint Brittany Pollock for Councilman Black's recommendation to the Parks and Recreation, Arts, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Board. Councilman, you made the motion, so Lee, aye. Isaac, you there? Hello?
Black, yes.
Churchill, yes.
Going Brown, yes.
Councilman, I think I heard an aye from you, Barone. Is that correct? I think your phone might have messed up, but, well, I heard him say aye, so I'm going to say it's unanimous. Thank you very much, and welcome Ms. Pollock to the city leadership. And we'll move on to city manager's report.
Just 1 second, Mayor. We're looking at something. Bring it back up.
Just for a second, the manager and the attorney are conferring. Just give us a second here.
Just one quick item, Mayor and Council. It's been brought to our attention that there was inadvertently something that might have been left in the contract that was before you for POA. It's not it does not have a financial impact, so it would not change the presentation that was made or my obligation under the NRS to make a presentation about the savings in the contract, but there is something that's in there, and we're looking to see if we need to possibly, it's under Article 15. It's something that was
We can take a 2-minute recess.
Okay, can we
We're just going to take a 2-minute recess while the city attorney is able to understand this and give us some direction. So a 2-minute recess. So if you want to go get a drink of water, somebody. Discussion from the city attorney and the city manager. We need to bring back item 18 for consideration. So I need to get a vote that we can bring back. That had to do with the POA contract. So the chair needs a motion to bring back item 18 for consideration. Reconsideration, pardon me. A motion?
Mayor, this is Councilman Barone. I'd like to make a motion to bring back item 18 for consideration.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Lee, aye. Excuse me, Lee, aye.
Barone, aye.
Black, yes.
Churchill, yes.
Goins, Brown, aye.
We have a motion that's approved. Mr. City Manager.
Item number 18, ratify the 2020-2021 agreement between the City of North Las Vegas, Nevada and the North Las Vegas Police Officer Association for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021. Mayor and Council brought to our attention that there was the contract as it was posted before. You had one small sentence in it that was not consistent with the contract that was presented and voted on by the Officers Association. It is Article 15, Section 2, Paragraph C. And what this was is employees would have the option to opt out of dental insurance, vision insurance, and/or cafeteria plan offered by the city and reduce their health benefit contribution accordingly. So that's something that was in the earlier conversations with the TOA. It does not provide any kind of a savings to the city either way. So we were neutral on it, and at the end, it was something that the TOA was not in favor of, and it also created some kind of internal challenges within the city. So we did move away from that, but yet inadvertently it was put in the draft of this agreement that's before you. So, yeah. Okay. So the clean copy was correct. It was just inadvertently in the red line that was on the agenda. And so we just want to make sure you all did receive a clean copy, the copy that you received, but just so that there's no confusion for anybody, that the document that was attached to this, that the public saw, was an earlier draft. The item you guys actually voted on was clean, but we just want to make sure there's no confusion for anybody that's looking for confusion. So if you would, we would ask for your consideration to ratify the agreement as amended with Article 15, Section 2, Paragraph C removed.
Okay, that will be the motion to accept that verbiage. One real quick second. Madam City Attorney, are you in agreement with everything you heard?
So again, to be clear, the clean copy is correct. The red line, though, shows that language is in there because it was a last-minute change. So we're just cleaning up the record so that there's no confusion in the event somebody's only looking at the red line version.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. Did everybody understand that?
Yes.
We did. Okay. So with the verbiage that the city manager read into the record, the chair would like to take a motion. Councilman Churchill.
Be happy to make the motion, Mayor, to re-vote on this item as amended.
Thank you. So we have a motion on item 18 as amended. Lee, aye.
Barone, aye.
Black, yes.
Churchill, yes.
Goins, Brown, aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to public forum. Well, Madam City Manager, did you have something you wanted to report on your report?
I did. The funny thing was, the only thing I was going to say on my report was I was just going to reiterate my thanks to POA President McAllister, to our city Assistant City Attorney Claudia Guayo, and Chief Ojeda and the team for all the work that they did in getting the contract together. And I don't even need to talk about all they did because you just saw how quickly in just a couple minutes we were alerted to this as we were going through the last item on the agenda, and you saw how quickly that team was able to really get the information and correct the record. So just once again, they're just an outstanding team that at a moment's notice is engaged and able to make sure that the business of the city continues moving forward. Just wanted to thank them, and the proof is in the pudding how quickly we had. During the recess, we had calls with everybody that I just mentioned and got everything squared away. So just very thankful for our responsive and competent professional team.
Well, compliments to Lauren for stepping in, filling Mike's big shoes, and doing a great job for us. I hear nothing but great things about him. And I know he's prepared and trained. So, Lauren, if you're out there listening, thank you so much for the leadership you provide for your organization, for our city. So now, moving on to public forum. Now is the time set aside for the public to speak on issues not on the agenda. Remember, council may hear these items, but may not take any action tonight upon any items raised during the public forum. Madam City Clerk, are there any callers or written comments that we need to bring forth at this time?
There were 40 written comments that we received over the course of the weekend up until 3 p.m. today. Council was provided with those, and they were in regards to Lily, the dog. These comments asked for justice for Lily, expressed appall at how she suffered, and asked for felony charges to be brought against the owner and laws to be changed to prevent this in the future. And then we also received 2 comments by Ms. Kennedy discussing slander, and we have 2 callers on the line.
Great, thank you. And those will be entered into the record. Madam City Clerk, go ahead and put through whoever you want first, the 2 callers.
Yes, and Mr. Skipton is still on the line, so if we were going to have more people on the line, we might run out of lines. So,
Mr. Skipton, thank you so much. Scott, do you want to add anything to him? I just wanted him to be available.
No, I just really appreciate his support, his tenacity. He's very consistent with his message and support for making our streets safer for pedestrians and cyclists. So thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you very much. Okay, Madam City Clerk, there's one new line for you, and Mr. Skipton's off. We'll move forward with your new callers.
thank you. Hello, caller. State your name and your address for the record, please.
Elizabeth Garcia in Frisco, Texas.
Welcome, Ms. Garcia. Can you say your name, your address for the record, please, so we can have it in the minutes?
I'd rather just leave Frisco, Texas, if that's okay. I understand it's just a preference.
Well, go ahead. We'll listen to you then. It won't go into the record then if we don't have an address for you, but go ahead.
Oh, so, okay. What do you mean you won't go on the record? So is that going to be recorded?
Yeah, well, go ahead. You're fine. You live in Texas.
Yeah, I'm from Texas. I thought that would be just sufficient enough. I'd like to be recorded. It's just I'm kind of afraid about, sharing my address.
Okay, go ahead. You got the phone.
Okay. I'm calling in reference to today because it's justice for Lily. You saw the protesters that were out in the front. The recordings that have gone viral have been compelling, and I've had many of them. I know that we have domesticated these animals to make them, to domesticate them for ourselves, for our own selfishness. And we need to provide love and care for them and wellness and attention. And that because we do that, there's also laws for animals exactly like there are laws to protect children and elderly. The only difference is with me, the animals have a higher standard because they don't have a voice. And what happened with Billy is just heart-wrenching. Excuse for it whatsoever. The evidence shows clearly that those owners did not care at all for what they were doing to Lily. It was intentional. And because of that, those laws that are set with Nevada are pretty clear, whether it's Nevada, Texas, California, any state in the United States. They're clear. A crime is a crime, and it's not a misdemeanor. This is intentional cruelty. It was barbaric, torturous, and they did not just 1 day, 2 days, 4 days. The neighbors heard her crying for help, and no one did anything. Animal control, of course, you've heard many, many times, did not respond. I know this is a mean and speak, but still, that 4 days is just embarrassing. I don't know that we in Texas are hearing people not calling in reaction to the service calls after 4 days. Today's media has no problem showing humans with their brains blasted on the wall or somebody being killed by an uncivilized group of people, but yet the media said the video was too sensitive.
Okay. We have a 3-minute time limit, but we understand. I'm going to have Councilman Churchill just make one point here that you're waiting for this statement, this neuropathy.
Yeah, Ms. Garcia, it's Councilman Richard Churchill. I know we have another caller on the line, and I know you aren't, you're not here in North Las Vegas, but I did take an opportunity to go downstairs. We did have a large number of people out there, protesting and carrying signs about Lily, and we appreciate that, truly appreciate that. We're all animal lovers over here. I could tell you that right now, the necropsy report, which is the animal version of an autopsy, has not come back yet. So actually no decision has been made. So, in the meanwhile, what we're doing over here, we've spent a large amount of time today and previous to today before poor Lily passed away to update our ordinances and make them stronger in the areas that they needed to be shored up. So what I can tell you right now, without a report, is that we agree, we understand, and we respect all life. And, we'll make sure that our ordinances reflect that. And when we get the report from the veterinarian, we'll deal with that accordingly. But we appreciate you calling in, even from Texas, because we have animal lovers all across this country.
Thanks very much. Council, Madam City Clerk, do you have your next person?
Yes, Mayor, I actually have...
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will bring in the next person. Hello, caller. State your name for the record, please, and address.
Hello? Hi,
Hello.
my name is Melanie Shane, and my address is 1851 Balzac Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89156.
Okay. Welcome, Melody. Welcome, Melody. Go ahead.
Hi. So I am actually in dog rescue and dog trapping in the city of Las Vegas. To me, this case isn't just about Lily, but it's about all the dogs that we rescue on a daily basis that don't get justice. We are consistently, because animal control, how do I say it? Because of a lack of follow-up from animal control, we have regular citizens in this city, like myself, who go out on a regular basis, scan dogs, pick up dogs. My messenger, my phone gets blown up on a daily basis from people who have contacted animal control on multiple occasions because their neighbor left the dogs outside all day, all night, and have gotten no response from animal control. So this is not just about Lily. This is about every dog that has suffered, died, is being left outside day in and day out in the cold, in the heat. And we are doing the job of animal control for them, normal citizens. This is bigger than just the Lily situation. This is something that needs to be changed in the city and the county and North Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. Well received. Madam City Clerk, do we have anybody else who would like to visit with us?
Yes, you do, Mayor.
Did you give everyone the number?
Hello?
Hello?
Caller,
hello.
state your
I'm
name
still
for the
on.
record and address. Your 3 minutes are just about up, though.
Hello?
Hello? State your name and address for the record, please.
This is Gina Grayson with Nevada Voters for Animals. My address should be on record. We're out here on the sidewalk still protesting with the Justice for Lily group. We just wanted to, thank Councilman Richard Churchill for coming out and speaking to us earlier, and I did speak to him a little bit earlier, about 3 o'clock on the phone. Our understanding is that the city is going to be looking at strengthening the ordinances. I apologize if you already talked about this because I've been out here on the sidewalk and I'm not listening to the meeting except for right now. Looking at the ordinances and strengthening that, but we are fighting for felony animal cruelty, and we appreciate that. As we understand that once the necropsy report comes in, the results and the case will be forwarded to Metro's Felony Animal Cruelty Unit for them to investigate and make a determination on charges. So we appreciate the city being willing to do that as well. And we're very eager to sit down with the city and work on strengthening the language as far as shelter and also, any of the cruelty language. And we hope that you guys will support any efforts that we have at the legislature as well to change the state law as a whole. And the other thing that we're going to ask is that you please put resources into animal control. While we're very disturbed and we eagerly await the internal investigation into the failures that occurred on August 22nd, when it took way too long, for a response, to respond to Lily, which we said was a felony in progress and urgent, and the dog was dying. We also know at the same time that you guys have always, it's been a tough, 10, 15 years with budget, and we understand that. But these are the frontline positions that go and look at abuse, neglect, not only of animals, but of people. And right now with COVID, people locked in their homes, there's a lot of domestic violence is on the rise. And, animals as well as children are victims often of that behind closed doors. So we're asking you to put more resources, not less, into animal control as well. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard.
Well spoken. Thank you very much. Madam City Clerk?
Yes, I have one more caller, Mayor. Hello, caller. State your name and address for the record.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're waiting, sir. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We're waiting for your testimony.
Okay, because someone else still speaking. I didn't know they were finished. Okay, good evening. This is Jeff Alpert, 38283 Fuller Drive. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, two items I wanted to bring up. First, at the last City Council meeting, at the second public forum, I brought up the fact that I wasn't able to join in on the meeting for quite some time, and I was hoping the city would do something to improve the situation. And I tried to get on at 3:59 today. I tried through the portal, and I tried through the city's main webpage. On the portal, I was seeing no indication that a meeting was occurring. Everything was quiet. There was nothing there to indicate that I should wait. And then on the city portal, there was no tab on the main section of the news section. There were 6 boxes. None of them this time dealt with the city council meeting, but it was listed below in other news and in the calendar section. And when you clicked on the tab to join the meeting, you were getting a message saying file not found, never a message. So I was on the phone with my friend Steve Shope. We were both trying for 5-6 minutes. He gave up. I kept continuing. It took me till 4:09 to actually get through on the main webpage where I actually saw where I can click to go on to the meeting. So I think something needs to be done and needs to be looked into why it's such a struggle to join the meeting. If it says click here to join the meeting, you should be able to click and go right to it and not have to keep trying. The second comment I wanted to make, I heard tonight how our city manager, Ryan Judy, discussed how the whole virus situation is impacting our budget and our revenue coming in. I think the public entities, the cities, the county, I don't think much attention is being given by the media to the effect everything is happening to the cities, what the impact might be. Everybody seems to be in a holding pattern to see what the federal government does in terms of aid to the cities. And I was pleased to hear from Mr. Juden about what the city has done to have cutbacks. But I am concerned, I do have one main concern. If you were just a neutral person looking at, our agenda items on consent agenda tonight and in previous agendas, it seems like from from the layperson, it's business as usual. There are a lot of expenditures on contracts, and I just think the city needs to study every one of them to see if they can be cut back on. I have nothing against spending on utilities, fire, police. Like tonight, $200,000 was approved for ammunition. I'm just wondering if it could have been a lower figure. Was that a legal amount? Just what steps are the city taking to cut back now, not knowing where we're going to be months from now? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'll go. We go 3 bids on everything. The city manager does a fine job. But Jeff, you're welcome to call the city manager before any meeting and discuss that with him also. Okay, so our phones are open. Sure. He'll have time to discuss that with you. Thank you very much. Madam City Clerk.
Yes, Mayor, there's no other callers, and I have no other written comments.
Thank you very much. Well, we appreciate everyone being here tonight and for the public comment that went in place, and we will work on these things. We'll see that the city manager gets on these things. Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned.